Today, I'll be sharing 3 simple yet effective ways to cook eggs, ensuring they're perfectly cooked, easy to prepare, and suitable for a variety of dishes. With just a few simple steps, you can apply these methods to your daily meals. Let's get started. Tip number 1. Fluffy, light, and soft fried eggs. With this first tip, I'll share with you how to make fluffy fried eggs that are very soft, light, and creamy, unlike the usual way many people fry eggs every day. First, I crack 2 chicken eggs, but instead of cracking them together in one bowl as usual, I separate the yolks and whites into 2 different bowls. This method helps me control the fluffiness of the eggs more easily. I use a whisk to beat the yolks until they are smooth and uniform. I only whisk gently, no need to whip them until fluffy, then set the bowl of yolks aside. Now comes the most important part of this tip, whisking the egg whites. I use a whisk to beat the egg whites until they start to become fluffy and light like fine foam. When you lift the whisk and see that the egg whites are lightly fluffy and no longer runny like at the beginning, it's ready. Once the egg whites are fluffy, pour the beaten egg yolks into the bowl of egg whites and gently mix the 2 together. Next, heat a pan on the stove and add a little cooking oil. When the oil is evenly heated, slowly pour the egg mixture into the pan. Then use a spoon or gently tilt the pan to spread the egg evenly. Because the egg has been beaten, the egg layer is quite thin and light. I don't need to fry it for too long. Just observe until the bottom of the egg is cooked and slightly golden. Then flip the egg slowly so that the other side cooks evenly. The egg is very soft at this point, so flip it gently to avoid tearing it. When both sides of the egg are cooked evenly, turn off the heat and transfer the egg to a plate. At this point, the egg looks very nice, with a soft and fluffy surface, not dry. Finally, to make the dish more appealing, I add some chili sauce and a little mayonnaise on top. Then, I cut the egg into small pieces for easy enjoyment. The finished product is a soft, fluffy, and slightly creamy fried egg dish with a unique and delicious taste that will surely surprise many people. Tip number 2. Frying egg yolks with tomatoes. First, prepare the washed tomatoes. Choose tomatoes that are just ripe, slightly firm, so they don't fall apart when fried. Then, slice the tomatoes into round slices, each about 2 centimeters thick, so they retain their shape when fried. Once sliced, use a knife to remove the core from the tomato. Gently remove the core, only taking the soft inner pulp, keeping the outer edge of the tomato to serve as a mold for the egg yolk. This way, when fried, the egg will fit neatly inside the tomato slice and look very appealing. After preparing the tomatoes, heat a pan on the stove and add a little olive oil. Olive oil makes the dish more fragrant and less greasy. Once the oil is hot, place the tomato slices in the pan first, arranging them neatly for easy handling. Next, Gently place each egg yolk in the center of each tomato slice. At this point, I slow down a bit to prevent the yolk from breaking, helping the egg maintain its beautiful round shape. I fry for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on whether you prefer the yolk slightly runny or more thoroughly cooked. When the bottom is cooked and the tomatoes are just soft enough, I gently flip each slice to fry the other side. Because the egg is quite soft, I flip slowly to keep the dish intact. When both sides are evenly cooked, I turn off the heat and transfer to a plate. Before serving, I sprinkle some herbs on top to make the dish more fragrant and much more appealing. This dish is delicious when hot, with the richness of the egg yolk and the slight sourness of the tomatoes. A great change of pace for breakfast or a light snack during the day. Tip number 3, frying eggs in water. No oil needed. With this third tip, I'll share a way to fry eggs completely without oil, perfect for those who want a lighter, less greasy meal while still retaining the natural deliciousness of the eggs. First, place the pan on the stove. Then add a little water, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. No need to add too much. The purpose of the water is to create even heat and help the eggs cook without sticking. When you see the water starting to gently simmer, turn down the heat. This step is very important because if you use high heat, the boiling water will easily cause the eggs to crack or cook unevenly. Then, gently add the eggs to the pan. At this point, the eggs will begin to cook slowly thanks to the hot steam. Let the eggs cook evenly, both the whites and yolks, without stirring too much. Just observe to prevent the eggs from drying out. When you see the water in the pan has almost evaporated and the eggs are cooked through, turn off the heat and transfer the eggs to a plate. The result is soft-cooked eggs that are not dry, completely oil-free, yet retain their natural richness. This method of frying eggs is perfect for a light breakfast, for those on a diet, or on days when you want to change up your egg preparation for something simpler and healthier. So, with just familiar ingredients and a few simple steps, I've shared 3 different ways to prepare eggs, each with its own unique appeal and easy to apply in daily life. From fluffy, soft fried eggs, to visually appealing fried eggs with tomatoes, to frying eggs in water without oil, all of these methods make eggs more novel and appealing. Depending on your family's taste, time, and eating needs, you can flexibly choose the appropriate method. These tips aren't complicated or time-consuming, but they still make meals more delicious and enjoyable, especially when you want to try something different from your usual egg dishes. Hopefully, today's sharing will give you more cooking ideas and make cooking feel easier. If you find it useful, don't forget to share it with your family and friends. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoy your cooking and see you again in the next tips.